Hello everyone, I hope that you are doing well and good. In this video we are going to discuss on Python. So I have initialized an array in which I have inserted numbers from 1 to 9 and then I have initialized two empty arrays. One is AR even, another is AR odd. For I'm looping into the array using for loop for I in AR, which basically will loop through this if I modulus 2 is double equal to 0, which basically checks if the remainder is 0. So if it is an even number, then the remainder will be 0. Hence, I will append that inside our AR even, or else I will append that in AR odd, because there is only another condition which is left in, and that is would be odd one. So in this way, I am printing AR even and AR odd. So even numbers are separated and the odd numbers are separated. Then I'm initializing another array which is empty, AR even square. For I in range, AR even, which is already we have initialized and inserted value into. AR even square dot append AR even I star star 2. Basically, there are two types of looping mechanism. In first scenario, we are just simply giving the array here and then looping through that array. And another is for I in range. So the range function loops through the index of that array. So this in Python, the first index is 0 and second index is 1 and so on. So by default, if I loop from for I in range length of AR even, which is basically giving me value from 0 to AR even length minus 1. So the last element is not included, just to keep the length of that because it is starting from 0 onwards. So AR even square dot append AR even, then square brackets I. So in this way, I can specify the index of that array. I have specified the index here, the index position. Let's say, for example, if the index position is 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3, it will give me 4. And I have the double asterisk is used for squaring the value. So I have taken 2 that, which means I'm just squaring it, and then I'm outputting and then I'm printing that value here even square, which is basically the square of the even. 2 square 4, 4 square 16, 6 square 36, and 8 square 64. Then I'm defining a square root function, def square root x underscore. I can give any name here, it doesn't matter whichever number of characters I use. Return okay, whenever I define a function, it is always a return type, and I'm returning x star star 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is basically the square root. ARR is, I have initialized that as a blank array. For I in this, AR dot append this. So for I in AR even square, AR dot append square root of I. Square root, which is the function which I have made here, I. So for each and every element inside this, it will just do the square root. So that is basically 4, 16, 36, and 64, which we calculated here. What it will do, it will go to the first element, it will square root it, second element square root, third square root, fourth square root, so on. And then I have printed those values. Okay, now moving on to our while loop. So I have specified that I is equal to 0. While I is less than 10, it will loop print I. And I am incrementing the while loop I plus is equal to 1, which is equal to I is equal to I plus 1. So every time I is incrementing. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's how it is done. So a while loop can also be implemented if you don't want to specify, let's say, yeah, like Sometimes we use while loop when we want a condition to be true. Okay. All right. So next is p is equal to 11 and q is equal to 121. I'm saying I'm writing an f string f. Then the code starts. Then whatever the element that I want to write inside the string, I can put the curly braces, and that value is the square of this. So basically, we know that 121 is the square of 11. So that's one example of an f string. Another example is that for we can print an f string and create the table of 2 for I in range 1 to 10, 1 to 11, because the first number is inclusive and the last number is exclusive. So it will loop from 1 to 10. Print 2 cross I. I is basically from 1 to 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is equal to 2 cross I. So basically this number multiplied by this number. So whatever the value is, we are getting it, and you can see that this is a dynamic value inside a string, and this is also a dynamic value inside a string. Now, that's how we do f strings. Then let's say we have to write a multiple line comment, and we specify 3 quotes on the top and 3 quotes on the bottom, and how many number of spaces and enters we can provide in between. So that is how we do the multiple line of comment. We know that multiple line of comment is done by triple quotes. Okay. Moving on to I'm specializing in array Jan, Feb, March, April, May. Then I'm appending that June. So what append does is add the value at the end. So it will add after May. Now that's the June. Then I'm printing it. Then I'm popping it at zeroth index. Zero is the first index, so Jan is gone. So Jan is gone. Then I'm inserting Jan in the zeroth index, so Jan is added again back. So that's we have got that back again. Then ar dot remove Jan. So in the pop we specify the index. In remove we specify the value, not the index. So that's the difference between the pop and the remove. So Jan is again removed. Now let's take a number 100 and a variable, a list x which is emptied, and I'm inserting values of x as in range of 100 basically. From so 0 to 99 values will be inserted inside this array, and let's say I want to take the first 20 values. I can specify everything from starting, which is basically colon, and the last index. Yeah, so that is how we specify. We use slicing to specify all the elements we want to get from this starting to the number which we want. Okay, to the index which we want, not the number. Now I am taking the length of it, which is basically 20. Then uh, we have x. I am taking 85 index to the end. So 85 colon inside the square brackets. So that's how we do slicing on the front. Yeah. So length of x 85 colon is how we will do this. Then we have x minus 2, which will get the second last index, minus 1 will give us the last index. And if we do the print of x colon colon minus 1, so first is start, second is stop. From starting till the end, give me and the third is the increment. Give me the increment with the minus 1. So it will start with the 99, and it will give us the increment of minus 1. So 98, 97 till 0. That is how it is done. Now let's say I want all the numbers, but I want to give the increment of 5. So it will start with 0, then 5, and so on till 95. That's how we do it. Now let's say I want to write the numbers from 0 to 30 with the increment of 2. So that is how we do it. Another is I want to write it in opposite direction, so 30 to 0, but also I have to provide the increment with the -2, and that is how we do it. Then again the same thing, increment with the 5. Now let's say that we want to write an array 1 2 3 4 5 which I have initialized, and in that array, if that array divided by 2 is equal to 0, which is basically if it is even, then give me the value of that array. So that's the code for this. And this code we can also write using list comprehension. In this code, I mean, we can specify that a variable in which we can start with an array or list and square brackets, which is basically a list, and inside that, and we can give a dynamic value, and that dynamic value is nothing but a list comprehension, which basically means this thing that we are trying to implement. So print I, so first is the value is the print this number for I in AR. Okay, control Z, yeah, print this number for I in ARR. So this ARR, if I modulus 2 is equal to 0. So give me that value. So this value and this value is same. Just the way of writing that thing is a little different. Otherwise, it's just the same. Now we have the code for the fizz bus. Fizz bus is equal to the empty square brackets for I in range 1 to 100. If I modulus 3 is double equal to 0, and if I is divided by 3 is we are having remainder 0 and 5. 0, then it is fizz bus. If it is divisible by 3, then it is fizz. If it is divisible by 5, then it is buzz. Or else it is just the number which is there. So that is how we write the program for the fizz buzz, and we have printed it, and that's how we do it. Now, if we want to write the same command using list comprehension, what we can do is fizzbuzz if I modulus 3 is 0 and I modulus 5 is 0, which basically means that if I divided by 3 is 0 and it is divisible by 5, then the output is 0. Then give me fizzbuzz, else fizz if divided by 3 is 0, else buzz if divided by 5 is 0, else I. I'll just print me I. Okay, for I in range 1 to 100. That is how we get all 101. So that is how we get all the numbers from 1 to 101 and fizz bus. Oh, in this scenario, I have taken this 100. I can also put 101 here. So this one and this one. So that's buzz is ending with buzz, ending with buzz. Same thing. Okay, now I have initialized an array with empty array. Then I'm taking a factorial, which is basically I'm initializing the value of val is equal to 1 for I in range 1 to x plus 1. Val is equal to val cross I, which is basically multiplying the number with itself. Return me the value of val. So that program will give me the factorial of that number. So factorial of 7 is 1, 2, 6. 7 is 5040 basically, and what I did is write another program for I in range this arr.append factorial of this number, and I'm then printing that value of arr. So I'm initialize that variable, and inside that array itself I'm inputting the value of that from starting from 1 to till that number. So starting from that number till that numbers, and since that number is to be included, we have specified +1 here. Otherwise it will, if I want that of 7, then it would only give me up until the 6th value, which I don't want. So that's how we do it. Then list comprehension is equal to the factorial of I for I in range I to z plus 1. So that's basically the same thing. This thing can be written like this. All right, and remember that in list comprehension we specify the variable. Very simple. Then we have something called lambda functions, which is basically like defining a function, def function. So the square is equal to lambda x colon x star star 2, which basically tells me that the square is the square of that number. Okay, the power 2. So 9 power 2 is 81. So it is working perfectly fine. Now, another data type we are having is dictionary, in which we take key value pairs. So this is key value, key value, key value. That's we are having dictionary. The first element of the dictionary is k. I'm just telling it that overwrite the first value, which was a, to k. So now it is k, and the fourth value to d. Since the fourth value is not there, it will just enter that value and add that value, and it will print it out. So now key comma value, uh, then square brackets. For I in key value in dictionary or items, key dot append and value dot append. So basically I'm separating key and values. That is something we can also do. Another thing we can do is that we can create an empty dictionary for I in range 1 to 10, so 0 to 9. Give me the square of that number. Next I is equal to I star star 2. So for every item I'm taking the square of the, in the values I'm taking the square of that item, and that is how it is done. Okay, and the same syntax I can also write using the list comprehension. So I star colon this square for I in range 1 to 10. In the lambda functions as well, we use x lambda x, then that value, then colon, then whatever output we want. That's how we do it. Okay, now set. What set does is it removes the duplicate values it gave us. It's just a unique value. So if I take a list of repeating numbers and if I do set of it, then it will just give me the unique values. So now set operations: 1 2 3 4 5 6 4 5 6 7 8 9. Union: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Intersection: 4 5 6, because that is common. Difference: what is in set 1 that is not in set 2. So 1 2 3 is in set 1, which is not in set 2. That was simple. So that's the difference. Okay. Then tuple, we can initialize a tuple like this with parenthesis or curly bracket, not the curly brackets, just brackets. Yeah, simple brackets. And tuple, we can also add the tuples like that, or we can just simply write a tuple with a comma. And dictionary is equal to I star star 2 for I in range 1 to 10. Mm, that's the same thing that we did above. And this is also something that, yeah, if dictionary I colon I star star 2 for I in range this, if I modulus 2 is equal to 0. So dictionary comprehension, if we want to specify it with a condition, that is how it is done. Now moving on to the list items. So list, I have taken this list 1 2 3 4 5, and I've taken list to ABCD. If I want to zip it, then the output will be a tuple of, like, values will be zipped together. First value this inside tuples. Very simple. So that's zip. Then there is map. Map basically does is it is mapping if the first value it takes is the function, and the second value it takes parameter it takes is the variable or the list or whatever I'm passing inside it. Okay, so basically the list one is 1 2 3 4 5. For 1 2 3 4 5, give me the square of that number. So 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, then 3 4 5, like that. And if I want to filter if x modulus 2 is not equal to 0, so basically it is odd. For odd numbers, it is simply giving me the filter. So first in filter as well, the first is the function, second is the uh, uh, parameter or whatever variable we want to pass inside. And if I just simply go inside a filter and just hit shift tab, I can see the doc string, and if I do plus, and you can see then wait a second, where it is, function and iterable. That's the second name, iterable. First we write the function, then we write the iterable, cross it. In this list we are iterating, in this list we are iterating. All right. Then reduce basically does is it reduce the values to a number. So from func tools import reduce. Reduce is x comma y, x plus y. So basically for this, add with this, add with this, add with this, add with this, and the sum of all that will be 15. So that is how reduce is done. There are many other concepts, but these are the main concepts that I think a person should remember. So other than that, there are some functions like sorted functions, and if you just play around with numbers, and you will find some other functions as well. But I think that's most of the thing that you should know before going or before trying the lead code questions. So I think that's all for this video. Thank you for watching.